This shows you the versatility of this workbench here, Ultimate Work Table. I don't think I'd ever would have dreamed of doing something like this on my traditional bench. What I got to do here is mate these 45s up with the back piece on my lamp frame. And being that this is 45, you know, that's hard to clamp. But I came up with this method, so here's what I've got. That's going to mate up into this rabbet that we cut earlier. And I'm going to have to do these one at a time, or one set at a time. So what I did was I had some scrap pieces of 45 degree material here. I clamped this to my bench first, here, and I have one at the other end as well. Then that gave me something to clamp against. Instead of this ramping up now, it can't go anywhere because this is pinned to the table. So as I pull against the clamp here, I've got this set up dry clamp, and it works out pretty well. It can't go anywhere. So the only thing I need to do is worry about square, and I'm just going to use my 1, 2, 3 blocks, I guess. And that fits in there perfect. And it, you know, the thing about this is it's not like I'm making a box or anything. So this has just got to be reasonably square, I'll call it. And it is very reasonably square because this rabbet helps to square everything up. So what I've done is I've got that a square. I've got this other piece of plywood here to get my clamp in the middle of the board, and then I just put pressure on it and it pulls it tight. I've got a set of blocks here that I use. I'll get this out of the way when I need to. And I put this against that triangle piece, and I'll tap the bottom here like so to get that inner joint tight. And then that's it. I'm ready to go. So this is the one operation on this end, and then I've got one down here as well. Same thing basically. So like I said, I've got it dry fitted right now, and I'm gonna put some glue on these babies and get them going and get it set up. And then once this one's cured, I'll pull it out, put the other one in. But in the meantime, I can start working on milling up the material for this top piece, and then the front piece, the show piece, I guess, basically. And I'm going to do that out of some cherry. And then we'll be pretty much ready to go and be able to hook them up to my standards. My light standards. So let me get some glue and some other stuff ready to go here, and we'll glue this up. All right, that one's good. We'll go to the other side. Just putting a little bit of glue on this inside corner here. All right. All right, that's good. I'm gonna just check this other side for square again quick. We're good there. So we'll let this be and give her a little time to set up. So not good, but I got some squeeze out, which is, I don't want a lot on this thing. So I know I got enough glue in there. And then once I get it with the other pieces on here, it'll all tie together right here and across here. So that'll help keep things together as well. All right, we'll be back down here in a bit. See how things are going. Okay, it's been about an hour. I'm going to take the clamps off and get the other one in here, get that set going. Looks good to me. A little bit of sanding to do here. Flush these joints up. This one's just a little high. Flush on the bottom, but a little high here. So that looks good. So it's going to sit like this. Or I'm sorry, the other way. And then my lamp will be mounted in here. So let's get the other one clamped up. There they are. Let me dry fit this first to make sure everything's all set up to go. Everything looks good. This time I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to put a little glue right in the corner of each of these. Not a ton, I don't want it running out. Just enough to make sure I get enough in there for that gap. I'm going to have to spread it over the top of my finger here. I'm going to be bouncing back and forth here. I'm going to grab this other one and flip them up at the same time. All right, here we go. That's better. Okay, down the other end. Perfect. All right. Just give this some time now, and then that'll give me time to start milling up some cherry pieces here. I'm gonna need grab my tape measure. I need a piece, 2 pieces. Better figure 2 inches, or 1.5 inches probably. Let me see here. I will figure 2 inches rough by about 50, and then 50 by 4. So I need what I need is 6 inches by 50, 2 times. And I'm going to make these, I'm going to take a piece of 4/4 and just bandsaw it in half, and then whatever thickness I end up with, that's what it'll be. Somewhere around 3/8, I suppose, or maybe a little less. But that'll be fine. 3/8, 5/16. That'll work out. That'll work out good. So let me get busy and start working on that. All right, everything's dried up nicely. I just got flushing up these joints. I've already flushed up that one. There's not a lot to take off here. Got this block plane. It's pretty quick work of it. That's all there is to it on that one. I'll sand these edges here, but let me see about this other one there. Okay. That one is flush. I'm just going to hit it a couple of times to make sure that I've got it where I want it. But it feels very good. Oh yeah, okay. Okay. I'll work on these sides here. I'll sand those, and then I've got my pieces cut and ready to go. I've just got to figure out how I'm going to handle this miter joint right here when I piece these together. And I'm thinking that the top piece will be miter, will come over the top, and this piece will tuck inside of it, because I need that rigidity to make this piece stay straight. They got a pretty good, after I bandsaw them and cut them to width, they got a pretty good cup in them, or not cup, a pretty good bow. So let me sand these flush. That's kind of dull stuff to watch, but I'll get that taken care of right now. All right, here's my dilemma. I've got the top piece needs to go on first. At least that's what I want to do. But right, I can't do that until I get this trimmed off. So I'm going to have to glue this together. I can't really see any way around it. I could trim it, but then I would lose this part here that I was hoping to get, which is the lap joint, keeping everything square and tight. So it's going to be a little difficult to work with, I suppose, but that's what I want to do. I want this to be tight, so I'm going to glue this together, let them sit, drill my hole. Then on the inside here, I've got two brackets that the lights snap into, and I'll mount those, or at least, yeah, I will mount them, I guess, because there'll be no getting at them easily anyway once this front piece gets put on there. So I'm going to do some of that stuff first before I mount the cherry shades, I'll call them. So you can see what happens when I put that on there. I've got that little gap. I want to cover everything. So, and I'm not interested in notching this piece. So anyway, everything got sanded up flush. All the edges are sanded. And we're ready to go. So I'm going to do some layout on the lights here too, I think, before I get too carried away. This is the clip that holds the light. Just snaps on like that. So the location lengthwise is not a big deal, but the location this way is, and I'm going to locate it, I've kind of figured about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom. So then the light will snap in like this. Make sure I'm going to have enough room to get in there. Yeah. I'll just click it in. So I'm going to measure a center line here for that hole. Three-quarters of an inch. So I'll make a mark here and down the other end as well, in about the same location. I'll fasten these two clips. The screws provided are too long. They're 1 inch long. Nice little screw, but I'll have to use a smaller one. And then they gave these wall anchors for them as well. So I'll save these, but I'll get a couple of screws in here. I'll locate this one. I'll put all 4 on, and then should be able to, oh no, then I'm going to glue this piece on, the back piece, and then we'll have to let it set for a while. Okay, just taking my scratch awl and located a hole on my line there. Found some smaller screws in my little collection. That'll work. Do the other one and then we'll see how the light snaps in here. Well, let's just do it quick. You won't be watching it, but I'm down here putting her in. There we go. Once I get my hole drilled for my wire here, it'll sit a little nicer, but it is going to work. Okay. Do the other brackets, and I'll glue my standards into my slots here, my dados. We're making progress. And well, we'll let them set up and cure for a little while. It's gonna be a nice tight joint, that's for sure. I don't think it's ever coming apart. So once that gets cured, then I'll be able to trim my top flush, drill my hole for the electrical cord access there, and get to work on the top pieces for the shade, the top and the front. So we'll probably see you here in a couple hours and see what's going on.